Okay, let's see if this is working now. It is impossible how difficult this can be. I stream live because recording and uploading is very time consuming, and it's really difficult for me to do. It's just too much. So I started live streaming a while back, and I like doing that. Except for when it's not easy, like it just was. But I think I've got it. It says I'm live. I see the picture. Just let me adjust things because I had it all set and then it just wasn't working. So, or it was and it wasn't. I honestly don't know. It's really irritating. Okay. Okay, so here we are. It is 11:21 at 10:04 in the evening. I was originally a little bit late because right after I set the intention to do this recording, excuse me, I started setting things up, and within just a couple minutes there was this really, really loud cat fight screaming thing. Right, that's one of my cats. Right outside, behind my trailer. And so, of course, it got everybody's attention, mine included. We are in the mountains. There are coyotes. Unfortunately, I cannot keep my cats indoors only. I'm not going to get into that right now, but that's just not something that would work. So they're really good with coming in. I went out. Baby came right in, and then I saw Princess. She's still out there. She wouldn't come in because then she gets afraid of me because she gets all stressed out, but I'm not sure what happened. And then I came in here to get the recording set up, and it was all this new stuff to set this up. I'm actually going to turn that off so it's not distracting. Okay, I did not plan. Looks like that is really bright. I did not plan on doing a video tonight. I kind of thought about doing a video a couple days ago. I even have it in my, what did I write here? Let's see. I know it was the 19th because I was laying in bed. Distractions and traps. So I was told, okay, you need to put that in your phone so you remember that that's what we were talking about, because I was getting downloaded information as I was getting ready to go to sleep, which happens a lot. Or I'll be woken up with it or whatever. That's a whole other thing. And what this means in my warning to light workers about distractions and traps, and what that really means is that at this time there are so many changes going on within the collective consciousness about awareness and awakening and what's really happening. Your overall understanding of who you are in the universe and the world at large, and what's happening in government and different parts of the world. There's coups and takeovers, there's major arrests and all sorts of stuff happening. There's people that are being brought out into the light for their darkness, and I think I've been talking about this for a while now. The bottom line is that we are, if you're a light worker of any kind, if you identify with more starseed, more of an indigo, if you're an incarnate of an elemental, fae, like me, angelic in nature, it really doesn't matter. The point is, if you identify as a light worker, if you are of service to others versus service to self, then you are a target, plain and simple. Depending on, let's say, your outward mission, if it's more understated but you're still affecting a lot of people, or you're out and really being vocal about it, hello, like me, and I haven't barely gotten started, but they know who you are. They've known who you are since your birth. You haven't known who you are since your birth. You forgot. They always knew, because they could feel you from your birth, and maybe they didn't know exactly what you were and they had to figure it out sometimes along with you. I think it depends on the entity that may be attached to you, and also your family structure and dynamics. There is no coincidence that a lot of us are born into dysfunctional homes, or other people in our lives who are open and are susceptible to dark forces. And so with that said, you're kind of predisposed on different levels for this type of thing. And so maybe they leave you alone, maybe they poke at you, maybe they make your life difficult here and there, just because they do not want you to transcend, they do not want you to remember, they do not want you to fully activate into your mission, remember who you are. For those of us who have remembered who we truly are, you're extra dangerous to the dark side. And right now we are at what you would call the climax in the movie, when it's everything is been set up on the dark side, on the light side, and it's starting to reach that, maybe there was a battle here, a battle there, fight scenes here, fight scenes there, but there's a point in the movie where it's the big one, the big fight, and we're transitioning into that now. I talked in my last video about a 7 and 10 day cycle. 7 and 10 making 17. This is 2017. I've been tracking this for a couple of months now, specifically after 10-10, where I noticed we have been on a constant timeline shift between 7 and 10 days. And we're reaching that 22 tomorrow. So we had 11/11, tomorrow is 22, and then we have 23. So we'll have 1, 2, 3. Also, sequential numbers are very important. They know this, we know this, and the screws are turning. We're reaching critical mass. For myself, getting hot talking about, because it's really intense. It is really, really intense what's been going on. The name of the game, like I said, is to keep the light worker of whomever you are, however you identify, it doesn't matter. Any type of person of this higher vibration, and you know who you are. You know if you're a light worker, if you're an empath of any kind, if you're a light worker, a light warrior, you're a crystal, a rainbow, an indigo, it really doesn't matter. You know if you are of service and you are a person of target, depending on exactly who you are, depends on your level of target. It also will depend on your level of protection too. Everybody's protected when you're a light body, a light worker, so you are protected. However, now this is when I say they are coming beware, be alert. So let me give an example. When I say they, we're talking about dark forces, and they can be generated from different places. Now, the Matrix, our 3D to 4D world, is being controlled or has been controlled by the forces that be, the whole reptilian alien agenda, and there's been other places in time where the light has tried to rise up. However, there just weren't enough to raise the entire collective consciousness. And then also at the same time, we weren't in this place in our galaxy, and also Gaia was in a completely different place in her own soul journey. So this is the one time where all of these cosmic things are happening at the same time, where there is a mass amount of people that are collectively waking up, where there's a mass amount of light workers collectively working up, and then sparking everybody else. I should have said that backwards. Okay, so dark forces want to keep this from happening. It's not going to work, but they're putting up a serious fight, and especially starting, well, it was especially starting, we can just go back, but let's just go, especially starting 11/11. So 11/11, as everybody knows, you can't find enough videos on 11/11. There's just a bazillion of them. Not so much about 11/22. But there will be, I suspect, because this is the beginning, like I said, of when the screws really start turning, where the distractions and the traps are really going to be in full effect, and going to be employed, and going to be consider the dark forces having like a computer, and consider the different people, situations, even your animals, even your pets that you share space with, can be activated to be aggressive, to get sick, to start fights with you, to reject you, to start to do things in a really negative way. They'll also start pushing buttons in the periphery of the people around you to keep you apart, because it's easier to attack warriors when they're not in a group, is it not? So they will start doing things. Oh, somebody lost their job. Oh, somebody got sick. Oh, there was a car that broke down. Somebody died. Like, it'll just be boom, 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 and all these things, and things will just start getting like more intense and a little stranger, a little darker, a lot harder, things like that. My warning is to not play the game. It's happening in my own life. I'm seeing it happen to other light bodies. Whether or not they know they're a light worker, it is happening to them. There's just this friction on so many levels to keep us in that cycle of negativity, crazy, chaos. There's implants, there's programs, there's parasites in people, in everybody. Just assume everybody's got them, okay? You're specifically susceptible if you're somebody who is highly involved in church, highly involved in military, highly involved in any kind of medical profession, if you're somebody who takes pills on a regular basis, if you drink alcohol on a regular basis, assume, okay, you've got it. It's in you, period. Especially if you are a light worker, if you are a family member or a very close partner or friend of a light worker. So flip that around. How many people do you know that are really close to you, you being a light worker? There's probably a lot of them, right? How many people can fit into those categories that I just talked about that you might be in close relationship with, or come into contact with? Now, these parasites and these programs and these dark forces that are in humans, it's documented, and there's just a couple of videos that came out really recently talking about implanted thoughts and parasites within the physical body and how those can be accessed and removed. Now, one thing to understand is that what's really difficult is, as a light worker, if you're kind of a little far on this, a little bit further on this journey than starting off, this might be something that's really shocking to hear, that there's parasites and dark forces within you and all this stuff. If you've been around for a while, you might be fully aware of this. Maybe you've identified them within your own body. Maybe you've had them removed. Maybe you've removed them yourself. It is definitely possible. But what really needs to happen, number one, in order to get rid of them, is to acknowledge that they exist. And a lot of times they're the computer program that gets pushed by the dark forces in order to elicit a response in that human being, in order to elicit a reaction in the light worker. This just happened to me. Well, this has happened to me quite a lot, actually. And it's different than, oh, you've activated somebody and maybe they're coming across really aggressively because they don't know and they're like repelled by you and you have this friction. Okay, that's true. That does happen. But it's different than when somebody's program or activation code for aggressiveness against a light worker is signaled or pushed, or a frequency is it could be as much as what happened with me as a word that I said that just, it's like I saw the like normal light in the person's eyes just dim and a wall go up and the person just was instantly aggressive towards me. And this was a couple weeks ago and has not changed. In fact, it has gotten worse. And it was one of the oddest things. And I saw it happening. As it happened, I went, holy shit, he just got activated. And while I've identified it in other people after the fact, this is the first time I was really super aware of it. And my guides were saying, he's died like this. It happened so fast. I was like, what just happened? They're like, he just got activated. And actually at the time I was like, okay, but that was like really intense. And I didn't fully understand what they meant by activated. I thought they meant the other kind of activated, but that didn't make sense in the context of the conversation. But what they meant was this other activated that I was still coming into my consciousness about. And it's hard to watch people basically turn to robot status because they're susceptible, because they're so deeply, their body is so, and their mind and their consciousness and their ego structure and their core beliefs and everything is so enveloped in this web of matrix and control and mind control and these parasites. And like I said, if you're somebody who takes pharmaceuticals, if you're somebody who eats a lot of meat, if you're somebody who, or pretty much any meat, if you're somebody who does, drinks alcohol, does hard drugs, if you're somebody who has predilections of a deviant sexual nature, if you've been molested, if you have a gambling problem, I mean, think about the things that are of low vibration, and there you go. It's a recipe. And if you're somebody who has several of those, which a lot of people do, they'll have a gambling problem, a drinking problem, a sex issue problem. They'll have guilt when it comes to all of that, and they're just riddled with all sorts of parasitic type issues that can be activated, like I said, like a program. And these people, unfortunately, are targeted around the light workers so they can help bring your vibe down, especially during these times that we're coming up into. So if you're somebody who's highly awoken, especially if you're somebody who truly knows who they are and what their mission is, like I do, can get really, really intense. In my own family, I talked about it, I believe, in my last video, where I'm like, I've been trying to get with my family and my mother, and it's just become an impossibility to get that done. And now there's been buttons pushed and activations and all sorts of things going on that front, and my message is, I'm not playing the game. I'm not, I mean, yeah, I have to be aware of it, but it's not going to do what it's intended to do, which is trap me and my energy and focus into the chaos of that, while the mission and what I'm really supposed to be doing is at a standstill. That's what's supposed to happen, and especially when we're going through these gateways that we are in right now, the 11/11, and now we're into tomorrow, the 11/22. Now, 11/22 is all about, and now if you look at the date, 11/2/2017, so we have three twos there, with the twos are a master number, and then we have the ones, we have the 17. I mean, it's just all over the place, and we've been ramping up towards this gateway since Friday the 17th. And like I said, it's like this cycle that goes, we'll just start to, like 17 was up here, and then 11 was up here, 11/11 was up here, and then we kind of dipped down a little bit for a few days, and by the time we get to 19, 20, 21, we're ramping back up again, because then we have 22, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 23. My prediction, I guess you could say, is that in the next 2 days, Thanksgiving being 23, is that in little ways there's going to be big explosions, like on a family level, on a neighborhood level, on a group level, on project levels, whatever. On these small levels, there's going to be these explosions of acknowledgments of people saying in their own families, you did this and you did that, and there will be these truths that'll come out, and things are just going to go really, really haywire. And like I said, there's part of that is because disclosure starts on a small scale. Like we have these big disclosures that are going on in Hollywood and the government when it comes to sexual harassment and sexual assaults, but that happens on a very small scale too. And those things are going to come out along with a lot of other things. Now, a lot of it's going to be fueled by being by people being activated to incite these things. And some of it's going to happen just because it is time for it to come out. The dark is being brought out into the light one way or another. Enough is enough. We are moving on, and only those who are of a higher vibration get to really transition into what it means to live like heaven on earth and really quick manifestations. If there's people who are living that type of lifestyle right now, please beware that yes, while some people are like in this state of bliss, there are those of us that are true targets that have those around us that really don't know what they're doing, can't hear your words for what they really are not ready to turn the page or to finish that book and start a whole new book is really what it is. We're not talking about turning pages or chapters or whatever. We're talking about whole new books, and that's what's happening right now. And a lot of people are really resistant to that, and I have found that that is probably the state of most people, regardless of what they truly are. And it really helps the dark forces that people can be so easily distracted and trapped in chaos, in fear and chaos, if that's like really what they're comfortable with. Some people are just super duper comfortable in that kind of framework in their mind. They don't know any different. I used to that's you see that? Birds are right up there. Okay, my dear. It's Ariel. I counted the other day. She did it 17 times. I thought something. I was thinking something. She'll respond to my, like, how do I put this? Wow. I can't. This could go on for a while. Oh, you're done. Okay, good. I didn't shop for doves. They came into my life. And a while back it was told to me that they are instant verbal cues from my angels. So when I'm speaking, when I'm talking about very specific things, that'll happen. Or if they're like, they'll be like, they'll do their laughing thing when that's appropriate. It happens at different times, so they'll both go. They're really they're messengers as well, so this is why angels and incarnated angels tend to end up with doves, like I have. So anyway, sometimes it can be a bit much, trust me. Because it can just come in rapid succession, and I'm like, okay, well, what are you responding to? It's really interesting. It's really interesting. Okay, so I want people to understand just how thin the veils are and have been. One of the things that I do, I can't help it, is sometimes I'll just be guided out. I'll just be like, for whatever reason, I'll go outside and look at the sky, or I'll be guided to go outside for some other reason, or really like all of a sudden just, I need to go do that, and I'll go outside and then I'll notice the sky. Oh, excuse me. 10:33. The threes are the Trinity. The Ascended Masters numbers 333, which makes sense. As I'm talking about this. Lately, there has been a lot going on right above us that most people are just completely, I would say 99.99999% of people are completely oblivious about, or else there would be a lot more of it shown. I've been really quiet about it because my abilities to see it and decipher it and to understand what's what has grown exponentially in the last couple of months. But I do want to, at this time, hopefully this will work, share, and let me see if I can make this work. Is that working? I set this up ahead of time. Hopefully this is working. Let me make sure. I think it is. Darn it. All right, let's see. It's supposed to be showing. Did we do it? I haven't done this before, this like picture, switching pictures thing. Plus, I'm not wearing my glasses. Yay! Okay, that worked. Okay, so what I'm going to show you guys are some pictures here. This is, this is on, the 14th. Let me show you. If you want to see here, see the shape there. Now you're saying, okay, what exactly am I looking at? Now, here's one that's forming for you to take a really, this is right above my house, for you to take a really good look at. That, my friends, is a dragon. You've got the mouth here, the eyes here, top of the head here, and they always have these like really similar to actually what's shown in Game of Thrones, which is these three spikes on the top of the head. Got his body here, waist. His wings are coming out. Okay? Sometimes they look, let's see, which one's this? We have another one. It's going off to the side here. This is the head. Now, before you panic and get a little weirded out, there's another face, the nose, the eyes. Sometimes it's more in the void. That is a face. So here's the thing. When it comes to dragons, what's been told about them, just like what's been told about a lot of things, is untrue. Dragons, from way back when, were in fact the seraphim. Do we see that dragon face? Whoop, there it is. Eyes. Sometimes it's just the head. That happens too. However, there was a transition between, okay, who's going to do and be what? I think we already saw this one, actually. There's more than just that going on there, but who's going to be this type of angel, and who's going to be that, and what are they going to do, and all this, and some became, everything is a fractal of Mother, Father, God. And so some became archangels, and some became dragons, because we all had different roles to play. See that there? Right here? Eyes, mouth. Now, my own cat has a dragon on her, amongst other things. Let's see what we have here. We have a face that's forming. We have eyes that are forming there. Sometimes, and these move really fast when I'm taking pictures of them. So I'm going to fast forward. This is I'm in a car, but there is a huge dragon. These are trees. This is a huge dragon in the sky saying hello. You can see that face, eyes, mouth, nose. Let's see this last picture. It's a close-up. Try to do a close-up between the trees, but you can see just how massive it is. Really big. Okay, so here's Friday. Friday on the 17th was like, holy, oh my God, when it came to what was being shown to me in the sky. There are full-on faces, and I'm not just talking about dragon faces. There's a lot going on. This is a panoramic that did not... Well, there's one right there looking straight down at me. So head, body, it's a panoramic. So, and I was having a really hard time staying any kind of balanced that day. I don't know if any of you can remember how you felt on Friday, but energies were really intense for a reason. Whoa! Dang it, I hate it when that happens. Ah! Man, I hate it. Why? Why does that have to happen? Oh, it's hard to see a little bit. Sometimes you need your contrast. Oh, that's right. We can edit stuff in here now, can't we? I forgot. I updated to the... Uh-oh. I hit the wrong thing. A minute. It's not really what I wanted to do. This one actually works out pretty well because while it's there, it's a little bit difficult. I just really hope that my computer no, I don't want auto. I want... It's usually a vibrancy thing, and if you turn up the contrast, you can see the faces start to appear a little bit better. I have not used this before, so please bear with me. Let's see what this is. There's another face there, if you can see that. I'm just going to say done. My computer is starting to get really hot, unfortunately. I'm going to show you a few, though, where you really don't need the contrast. And some of these are easy to see from far away. Like, if you could see that when it's small there, see that face. There were so many things going on this day. There's another one. There's the face. And a lot of the times what we'll be seeing is a body of an angel, or the face of an angel with the body or the face of a dragon, which is a clear message as to what they are. So we have eyes, nose, mouth. I'm going backwards, but you can see that contrast there. Here we have the side view of one. Another one is here. Here. There's a few of them. They'll just show up in different ways. Now I'm going to go through these, and I don't change anything about them other than the vibrancy. So you can see like, okay, so you have the side view of what it becomes, but on this view, it's the face of an angel. So they're one and the same. You could see that. This was a couple of days ago. Again, there's another face there. This is right above me. There's another one. There'll also be a face of, or lion faces. There's a face. It's as though they're just right up against our, like, they're just right there, saying hi, and most people can't see them. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. So I am going to actually, like I said, go into Photoshop with a lot of these and have like the before being what it looks like raw, and then for those of you who are having a hard time actually seeing it without that contrast, I have a lot of pictures of I want to make sure this is actually working. Yeah, I have a lot of pictures of come here, baby. Okay, my cat's got the sniffles. I did energetic work on him, and he's like getting a lot of it out. I'm gonna have to do more tomorrow, but it's already better. Come here, love. Come. No. Okay. So more people, or so you can see it just a little bit easier for those that might be having a hard time. Oh my gosh, my leg just fell asleep. But I did want to share that the veils are so thin, and you need to make the conscious choice that you want to really see what's there. Say, show me. Say, I'm ready. I want to see. Show me what's really there. This is especially important at this time, at 11:22, because it's going to be, and just how it's been, where there's mass exits on a soul level, where people are choosing, or they cannot get to that next level incarnate, so they're going to pass on so they can continue on their journey. That's part of it. Another part is going to be just people staying within that framework, excuse me, of the matrix. But for those of us who have awoken, who know who they are, or on their way to learning who they are, or like I was not too long ago, really kind of being birthed into the realization of who I really am. I'm not prepared to get into that right now, but I will be doing a video about that very shortly. Probably within the next 2 days, go figure. But as we go through these portals, and for me, it is a mind-blowing experience to really truly see what is really truly there. And my job and responsibility, one of them anyway, or a couple of them, there's a lot, is to show other people. And up until now, I've been very quiet about a lot of what I've been shown and what is really there. Even to the people that are around me when I'm taking these pictures, they're like, they look up, they don't see whatever. And I say, you know, it's... you'll see at some point, but they're not pushing for the information. They're all, whatever, she's tripping out on the clouds again. And it's because there's actually things there to be looking at. And for me, I understand that the dragons are not something to be scared of. They are the guardians, actually. When we've heard of who are the guardians? Well, most people haven't been ready to understand that dragons are real. They are just on the other side of the veil, just like the Fae are as well. They are right there with you, whether you can see them or not. Just the same thing as the dragons are right there with us, even though you don't notice them. They're fighting against the dark forces, that they'll come around and I will feel like, okay, like I said before, I'll be guided outside and I'll see the dragons, I'll see the angels, in the sky. There'll be things left for me on the ground. Winds will start to kick up. They'll let me know that they're there, and then they'll show up, or it's all sorts of stuff. But then I'll also, in the clouds, will see certain dark forces that are trying to get through. They're trying to stir things up even more than they already have. They're doing their best in a lot of different ways, on a multitude of levels, to disrupt. But I am so heavily guarded by the dragons and angelic forces and so on and so forth. As you can see, all those pictures are just like right what's going on right above me. And I see them and I acknowledge them, but I also see what's going on. And a lot of these scenes, and especially what was going on on November 17th, they're like full-on battle scenes that are going on in the last week that were not there before. My pictures did not. They were pictures of dragons, and they were there. And now, within a half-hour period, I am seeing a full-on scene of angels and archangels and fae fighting dark forces just beyond our veil. Period. It is real, it is happening, and it is best to acknowledge it, because sticking your head in the sand over what is really there doesn't make it not exist, doesn't make it go away. People have their set of beliefs, and if they choose, okay, well, I'm just not going to believe in that. I'll believe in Satan and the devil, which Satan never existed. The whole concept of fallen angels is absolutely ludicrous, and every time I hear about it, it really pisses me off, because there has never been an angel or archangel or seraphim or any type of angelic entity, soul-based light body, if you want to put it in all of those terms, who've ever gone against Mother, Father, God, let alone legions of them, and let alone them coming down to earth and raping humans and them making these ridiculous giants. No, that's not what happened. That's not real. Dragons are real, but they're an angelic based soul who were there for a reason. They were there to fight dark forces that were incarnate long ago, and they fought right alongside angels and archangels. Archangels like Michael didn't fight any dragon ever. It's quite the oxymoron. It's like saying I fought myself and I cut off my own head, because it's not real. It's just not what happened. And what's really interesting is when you look in the sky and you can see the dragons and you can see the angels right alongside with them, they'll be one and the same. Jesus is there too. His face is right alongside the archangels and the dragons. Now, if you didn't pick up on that, you can go back and try to look and try to find his face. He's a little harder to see. I did not point him out because I was really focusing on the dragons. I want you guys to really see that, because in my opinion, the dragons are the easiest thing to see. And then once you get used to what the dragons look like and their shape, and they're always the same, with the 3 spikes and very distinct dragon face, you can start looking beyond the dragon and then start seeing the other things. But it's multi-layered, and it does take a little time to get used to that, and I have no problem helping you guys out if you have any questions about that. Like I said, I am going to be taking a few pictures and showing them side by side, so you can really see what that is, what that looks like. So, with all of that said, God, I'm tired. I was tired before I started this, but I was sitting here and my guides were like, you really, it is 11:21. Tomorrow's the 22nd. Things are going to get really real. Don't forget, parasites, distractions, traps. Do what you got to do. Don't engage. Don't be triggered. Don't let yourself go down that spiral with whomever or whatever. If you have any fears still, please address what those are. Please address what those are, and really think about them, and have the intention to transmute those fears into back to Mother, Father, God, and that you don't need them anymore, because any fears that you have are just going to be turned against you for you to deal with, and the dark forces love your fears. So try to let go of your resistance, let go of your fears, let go of the fear of having fears and of what it means to maybe have parasites or to be activated, have people in your life activated. The most important thing to acknowledge, to transmute them, and to and to let them go, these parasites and these dark forces, is to acknowledge them. The more that you're in denial over your dark fears, or your fears, the dark forces have control of them, because it's like having a mole and pretending your mole doesn't exist. Well, your mole's like, great. I don't exist, and I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing and screwing your shit up. But as soon as you're like, hey, you're a mole, you're causing problems. Who are you? What are you? As soon as you start to really get down to the nitty gritty, and it's not necessarily pretty or easy, but it's the only way to gain control. Even if one person hears me and understands what I'm talking about, you must think back, think of the, you know where your crutches lie, you know where your denials are, you know where your past traumas and hurts are. Those are the places in your psyche and your body where these parasites and dark forces and programs lie. And they lie there very comfortably. They're nice and cozy within you, and only need an activation to just release and either attack you in a physical way, or be something for you to react to from other people, your own thought forms coming back to, doubts are really, really, really toxic. If you start doubting your divinity, doubting your sovereignty, doubting your control, doubting your now moment, doubting the love that you feel, doubting forgiveness, doubting divine understanding, and being divinely guided in your divine mission and being a light body, if you start doubting these things, you're just inviting them to ramp up. Confront it. Confront whatever is coming at you, but don't play the game. Acknowledge it and don't play. It's like that stand and stroke thing. You ever heard of that? Or stroke and stand. That's what it is. Stroke and stand. Like, acknowledge the other person, but then stand your ground. And if you need to remove yourself, remove yourself. If you need to write out about what happened in your past so you can transmute it and let it go, do that. I mean, whatever it is that you're being guided to do, to transmute and get rid of these parasites and these dark forces. And if there's people in your life that are aware enough that you can talk to about this, show this video if that's what helps. For them to acknowledge, you know what, there is something not right within me that I don't seem to have control over. And yeah, it does tend to push buttons and to cause chaos and to cause strife and to cause disharmony. And that is everything the dark side wants to have happen, because they are going to do and employ their whole construct is imploding and exploding at the same time. So they are just like pushing every button that they can, and where there's real true major targets going on, that's where it's going to be activated the hardest. And for me, what I've noticed is disengagement really just diffuses any kind of energy in it. If I don't engage, what can they do? Nothing. Right? I acknowledge you're there, asshole. Dark force, whatever you are, trying to screw with me, scare me, push the buttons of those who are supposed to be supporting me so they're in opposition of me. Okay, fine. You're there. They're there. Whatever. I won't engage, because that's exactly what they want. They want me all tripped up and trapped and engaged in that bullshit, and I just cannot. I have a very, very serious mission, and multi-leveled, layered mission to accomplish here, and I am just trying to figure out what my next steps are. But for now, it's acknowledging that, letting you guys know 22 is a portal. It's a true test to your I guess faith in your awakening and what's real and what isn't, and the thinning of the veils. Like I said, it's very important to acknowledge these things, to ask to be shown, to ask to transmute, to have that deep core gratefulness and gratitude that you can see these things, and that if it's anywhere in your consciousness that any of that is out there, it's because you're meant to see it. It is meant to be seen. They are meant to be seen. They're fighting along with us. When we talk about a spiritual war that cannot be seen, well, it kind of can be. You just have to look at it. So choose to look at it. Choose to live and be your divine self and divinely guided, and to actually see what's really there. To not just buy the bullshit that is fed to you. That if it's in print in any way, shape, or form, or if it's on TV in any way, shape, or form, that it is what it is. That's not right. Things have been put in place and that have meant to distract and trap us for a very long time. And now is the beginning of the unraveling of that to the truth of what is really there, and what has been there, and what's what, and who's who, and what is real. It's really real. Okay, so with that said, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them. I am more than willing to help or discuss any questions that you may have, and I truly hope that you are an open and a sovereign divine light body who is really looking at the world and the universe and yourself for what is truly there, okay? And that is love. So, love, peace, and happy Thanksgiving if I don't see you until after.